Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy. So click the link in the video description and it'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? I got a very exciting video as always today. We have a Halloween Cup video. I am very happy for Halloween Cup to be back. Today we have the team that I theory crafted for you guys in the previous meta discussion video, so we'll take a look at that. But huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, could not be doing this without you guys. And yeah, let's get right into it. So this team, Umbreon, Shadow Beedrill, Wormadam Trash, was the result of the team building example in the Halloween Cup meta video. And in the future, of course, those videos will probably be private for Patreon supporters and channel members, of course. So if you do want an insight on how team building works or on upcoming metas, then I think it's honestly pretty good value. But let's get into the team. So this team is Umbreon, Shadow Beedrill, Wormadam Trash. And note some of the moves we have here. Last Resort is imperative on Umbreon because Umbreon is your Mandibuzz counter here. Some people might think you're not a Mandibuzz counter as Umbreon, but honestly, you are. It's a very solid matchup, very hard for Mandibuzz to flip it, and you can end with an extra move, or you can start the farm on Beedrill. Tons of options. Shadow Beedrill, this moveset is pretty obvious, I think. For a safe switch, you can run Fell Stinger, but I really recommend X-Scissor in this meta with all those dark types. It just helps the Umbreon matchup so much, and same with the Mandibuzz matchup. And then in the back, we have Wormadam Trash, and I streamed this live, and I got a lot of questions. Probably every 5 minutes, someone new would come in and ask me, why not Confusion? Well, the main reason here is if there's an Obscune or Scrafty lead, you're just going to straight up lose with Confusion. The goal of Wormadam here is not to beat the poisons. Umbreon's job is to beat the poisons. Wormadam Trash's job is to take no super effective damage from anything and just outbulk the opposition and take it down, and it makes it really hard against those poison dark types, so like Drapion or something like that, or Skuntank if you're Confusion. It just does not work as well as Bug Bite. So that's why Bug Bite is the goal here. The other thing I want to answer, because I know I'm going to get hard questions on this, Shadow Beedrill, regular Beedrill. I prefer Shadow Beedrill, but I've heard that regular Beedrill is working okay as well. It is tanky enough to survive some of these safe switch matchups anyways. We have Wormadam into Alolan Ninetales. At this time, I'm thinking it's probably a double charm. So I throw Drill Run here to avoid having to shield a Weather Ball Ice, because I absolutely need to keep switch. In comes Wormadam. It's unfortunate they're going to get a farm down here, but Umbreon can handle Confusion Wormadam pretty well. Remember, they're not going to want to spend shields on their Wormadam, considering they're probably just going all in on that second Charmer. So Wormadam's pretty low already. Bug Buzz does hurt a lot on Umbreon, but they swap into Shadow Gramble, and we're going to come in with Wormadam Trash here. And while Bug Bite is resisted by these fairy types, Charm is also resisted. So it's kind of a battle of the fast moves here. Looks like both Pokemon are going down at the same pace. Gramble might actually be able to win this one, but Wormadam is just going to try and throw this frustration. Someone didn't even want to TM their Gramble. We're just going to throw this Iron Head. And then Wormadam, not going to quite be able to take down Gramble, but Umbreon can come back in, and we're going to throw this Foul Play right away. Take out the Gramble, just because those charms deal so much damage. And then Foul Play should be enough to take out this Wormadam as well. So this team pretty good against Double Charm. Yeah, Wormadam can't really guarantee switchback versus the Charmer, so you do kind of have to go in with your Shadow Beedrill in the first place. And that leaves you kind of vulnerable to that 2-shield charm at the end, but like you just saw, you can play around that, no problem. Mandibuzz lead, this is what I was talking about. This is why we're running Last Resort instead of Psychic. You might be tempted to run Psychic because of all these poison types running around, but to be honest, most of them are dark types anyways too. So is Psychic even better? I don't know. Anyways, so in this matchup, it's a very long one, but you can see these Last Resorts deal quite a bit more damage than Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is a pretty bad move. You get there just a little bit later, but it's a very long matchup. Practice your fast move denial here. You have like 4 or 5 options. Sometimes the game doesn't work, sometimes it does. But either way, if you are playing this Umbreon versus Mandibuzz matchup, one thing to watch out for is that there's a very decent chance that your game will time out at the end. So try to be playing around that and make sure you're keeping Pokemon alive with 1 HP if you need to. Make sure that you are looking for that timer coming up, not using your shields too late, because it might very well come down to a timer. considering this matchup takes enough time. So once you tank one more move on Umbreon, you can switch into Beedrill here to try and bait out if there's a fire type in the back. And what I do is I swap to Beedrill here. They're not going to get to an aerial ace on the Mandibuzz, and it's going to force out their best Beedrill counter. It's not an Alolan Marowak, so perfect means Wormadam Trash is likely going to have a good matchup against whatever is in the back. This being a Confusion Wormadam, I decide to tank the move because Wormadam Trash resists all other Wormadam Trash's charge moves on my Wormadam Trash, and they're going to get to another one here. The other advantage of Bug Bite is that you beat Confusion Wormadam, so there's that. You're going to hard swap into Nidoqueen. Throw this Iron Head. It's going to probably do the most damage, so they're likely going to shield. I'm going to go for another Iron Head here. In this case, going to shield just in case they do throw the Earth Power, which they do. And once again, get this Iron Head off. Try and take out this Nidoqueen. I don't think it'll quite take it out, but we do have that Umbreon come in and land that Foul Play. Foul Play should be enough to take Nidoqueen out. And now we both have 2 Pokemon remaining. Mandibuzz is very low. It's a tough decision to shield or no shield this. We're going to no shield, let that through just so Wormadam can farm down. They actually had 2 moves on Mandibuzz, so fantastic counting by my opponent. I cannot believe they actually counted that exactly the whole time. And like I said, here's the timer coming up, and we have to just be able to take down their Pokemon in time. So if that timer was 10 seconds shorter, would have lost that game, right? Because even though the game is in the bag, when the timer ends, whoever has the most Pokemon remaining is going to win, or the most HP. And if my Umbreon goes down, they have their Mandibuzz. They'll lose. Alright, Sableye lead, this is great. This is where you want to see it. Even Bug Bite Wormadam is not great against Sableye. It's not bad either, but let's at least soften the Sableye up a little bit. Throw some foul plays. Tank returns. There's no way they bait. It's quite a bit of damage, but at the same time, it's not too big of a deal. I regret throwing this foul play. And because I throw the foul play, I stay in. If it weren't for this, I probably would have swapped to my Beedrill. And yeah, you can see I try and actually swap to that Wormadam there to avoid getting Poison Fanged here. But I'm going to swap to Beedrill now because Beedrill is going to make better use of this farm. Yeah, and it can tank Poison Fangs, no problem. Alright, so in comes Golbat though, so this was kind of the reason you should switch in the first place. If you get locked in versus that Sableye, then there's going to be a hard counter in the back that you might not be able to deal with. In this case, Golbat does a lot of damage, and yeah, Bug Bite Wormadam can't really deal with it either. I actually kind of regret leaving this game this early because Wormadam might have actually been able to win in the 2-shield versus Golbat. But yeah, a little bit of impatience there. I was getting a bit frustrated with some of the teams and the play that I was doing, or the plays I were making. So anyways, Dragalge lead. This is not too bad. I'm going to stay in for a little bit here. I think the problem is, well, Beedrill beats Dragalge pretty comfortably. Wormadam does not. So we're going to get Dragalge low. I'm going to swap in the Beedrill to shield the first move because it could be an Outrage. Doubt it, but it could be. So we'll shield one Aqua Tail. Kind of thought that they would throw the other one, right? So that's why shield. You need to shield anyways. So in comes Alolan Marowak. This is absolutely what we want to see. We don't want this Alolan Marowak on our Wormadam Trash. So drawing this out is extremely important. Come in with Umbreon. And, well, I mean, you know how this matchup goes. Bone Club is an awful move. They're forced to use it. So in this matchup, going to farm up an absolute ton. I know their switch timer is delayed from mine, but it is coming up soon. So that's kind of the reason I throw here instead of farming up a little bit more. I want to get rid of this Alolan Marowak. If they're allowed to switch out, I'm going to lose the game. They actually do, but, I mean, they switch it out like 1 HP. So it's a different story. Wormadam will be able to take out that Alolan Marowak before it's able to get off of Fire Spin. So this is a very interesting match, Wormadam versus Azu. It's kind of how the team works. Wormadam beats Azu in the 1-shield, as long as it's not running Hydro Pump. So I tested the waters there first. If they Hydro Pump me, I can just leave. If not, then I'm going to start shielding some Late Roughs. And yeah, they reveal their full moveset to me. The Ice Beam bait, I can't believe they actually baited me there. Gonna be able to get off this Iron Head. Maybe with the bait, I actually lose. I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to avoid getting farmed down. I don't really care if my Wormadam goes down. My Umbreon should be able to take this Azu down with a Last Resort anyways, but it doesn't end up mattering. Going to be able to take down the Azu with the Iron Head. In comes Alolan Marowak, so I'm going to switch to Umbreon, which was not very smart. I should have only done that if there was a the Dragalge coming in, but look how much damage Aqua Tail does. It does almost nothing to Umbreon. Umbreon's so tanky. So, even though I make a little bit of a mistake there, Umbreon outbulks my problems for me, and it's all good. If they'd come with the Alolan Marowak, Wormadam would have been able to take it out before it went down to the Fire Spin, and then the rest is history. I'd be able to get that foul play off on the Dragalge. I'd be able to switch into that. Either way, positive set. I think this was the second set I played with the team. First set was also positive, but I had some more positive sets in the future. Oh, this game is very sad. I'm not really sure what happened here, so we'll see. The Froslass lead. Everyone tries to catch on Froslass lead, so just be careful of that. So I stayed a bit too long. I switched a little bit too slowly because this is the first time I've seen Umbreon switching. And now we can see how sad this matchup is if you don't swap fast enough. So if you swap fast enough, Wormadam Trash annihilates, and by annihilates I mean it's very close, but beats Umbreon in the 2 shield. If you swap too slow, it loses. So I'm going to try my best to win back switch here. Throw the Bug Buzz just to see if they'll shield or not. It really doesn't matter if you throw Iron Head or Bug Buzz here because you're only going to make it to 2 moves, and you're going to KO based on Bug Bite damage anyways. But at this point I didn't know the matchup, right? So I'm going to shield again. I guess I could have forced a shield first. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this Iron Head off, and they're gonna shield it, and unfortunately gonna get right there. So if I swapped a little bit faster, I would have been able to take out this Umbreon in time, and we wouldn't be in this situation. Fortunately, I was not able to win back switch. Unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out which Pokemon I want farm on. I decide to go in on the Beedrill, so I can try and beat this Froslass to a move, except it's already at a move. I swap to my Umbreon right away just so I can get that damage off, and in comes Scrafty, and this game is over. But once again, this would have been a very simple game had I swapped fast, and that just goes to show how an advantage like that snowballs a little bit. So just because I was 1.5 seconds slow to switch, the entire game is lost on the back of that. And yeah, this matchup is not pretty. I play it out anyways. Just trying to gauge some damage. I can farm down the Scrafty. I can get a move off on this Froslass. And I didn't know Beedrill won CMP, or I would have been trying to mash this X scissor button to take out this Froslass. But Beedrill actually does win CMP versus Froslass, so I still did have a chance. That's something I learned. Froslass is not as squishy as everyone says. It's quite a tanky Pokemon, to be honest. It has the same bulk as Driftblim, which might surprise a lot of people. It surprised me when someone told me that. I didn't believe them at first. Crustle, this is a bit tough. Crustle can actually do quite a bit of damage to Umbreon. But it's also absolutely something you don't want to see on your back line. In this case, we're going to throw Foul Plays. You outpace them, so... Ooh, lag. Hopefully, yeah. Damage still goes through. Oh, but they lag a bit. Yeah, I had an earlier Crustle game, or Lead versus Crustle, where I was the one lagging, so I'm not sure why there's so much lag in this Umbreon-Crustle matchup. Oh, this is so sad to see your opponent lag like this. I get 2 Snarls, they get their 2 Smackdowns, but at this point, it's not looking so hot. I switch, and no shield to X-Scissor. And in comes Froslass, so this is what we're doing. We have to switch to draw out their counters to the back line. Froslass, pretty good answer to Wormadam Trash as well. Honestly, not that good against Beedrill, but has solid matchup versus Beedrill. It'll win every shield scenario except for the 2 shield, I think, if you really force it. And then Umbreon should be able to come back in and clean up this Froslass, no problem. I get greedy and go for the farm down instead of throwing my move. And in this case, I do shield, because I do have a move stored on the Umbreon. I want to be able to take out whatever comes in or be able to deal some real damage, and it's an Azu, unfortunately. So this is a bit of a tough scenario. You know how I said Wormadam wins the 1 shield? Well, I'm not sure if it wins the 1v2 shield. The saving grace here is that this time I do have the last resort on my Umbreon. So that will potentially help. But once again, I no shield the first one just to make sure they're not just trying to bait me. Like if they have Hydro Pump, it's already over. So might as well expedite that process. But because they don't have Hydro Pump, we're going to keep it going. Shield the next one just in case they try to bait the first one or something like that. Yeah, they're going to get another move off here, but like we saw earlier, Play Rough doesn't quite KO. You're going to be able to get to that next Iron Head. And then my Umbreon should be able to get this last resort. And get the foul play off. I understand here that I don't need to actually throw or snarl down because the Crustle is so low. I just need to KO that Azu so I get that done instead of risking it. But that'll be another win. Sorry to my opponent who lagged quite a bit on the Crustle lead there. It probably would have changed the outcome of the match because I would have had to shield. A9 lead, this is absolutely awful, so we're going to get right into Beedrill. Beedrill versus Quillfish. This matchup's not too bad. They're going to be able to win the 2-shield just because they have that consistent fast move pressure. But I'm going to be able to outpace the moves. Because I swapped in, so I have that little bit of an advantage. That's okay, I let it go down anyways. They did a good job counting. I have a shield advantage for my Wormadam, and I decided to go all in on that. Wormadam should be able to handle Alolan Ninetales pretty well. In this case, I know my Umbreon is locked in versus this A9, so there's no reason for me to save HP here. I really just need to get as much energy as possible, swap to my Wormadam, and hope that they don't have anything in the back for Wormadam. This Iron Head will KO the A9 like 7 times over, but I highly doubt they let it through. In comes the Drapion, so this is why we're running Bug Bite Wormadam. Because Drapion is not going to switch it on your Beedrill when you switch it in, and it's going to be at the back, and it's going to annihilate your Confusion Wormadam. In this case, going to shield up the Crunches. I honestly maybe should have let one through first, just to see if they're running Aqua Tail or Crunch, and then also for the debuff. But either way, I felt like the 2 Crunches were going to deal the most if they decide to let this through, so in the end, not too bad of a decision. They actually let it go down, and then it's Bug Bite Wormadam in the 0v1 versus Alolan Ninetales. I'm going to be able to get the shield, no problem. Weather Ball does nothing. The Wormadam, Dazzling Gleam does a little bit more, but still not very much. The goal here is just to get another Iron Head off on this A9. Remember, I have a Last Resort as well, so this Bug Bite damage is really adding up. And I'm just going to force them to throw their energy so that they can't have a Dazzling Gleam against my Umbreon. And we're going to combo that into the Last Resort, which should be enough. Take out this Alolan Ninetales here. There we go. So not an unfavorable lead where we couldn't win back switch, and it's still a win. Wormadam is pretty strong if it's uncountered. The consistent Bug Bite damage just kicks everything in this meta down. Even if it gets resisted, does at least that 1 damage. Shadow Arbok, I did not know what this thing had. Yeah. So I decided to no shield this. I assumed it was a Poison Fang, but it's an Acid Spray. Dragon Tail on Shadow Arbok does a ton of damage. I know I can't win back switch here, so we're just going to go for shield advantage. And the fact that they didn't swap in anything on Beedrill is a great sign for Wormadam Trash. So I'm going to come back in with Umbreon. I think I've set Wormadam up for a pretty good game here in the 2v1 shield versus whatever's in the back. We're going to go for another Acid Spray, which is kind of annoying, but I'm not going to shield that. I'm going to keep farming up a little bit, throw a Foul Play, which should take out the Arbok, and I'll have another move on my Umbreon. But we're swapping anyways to clear that debuff. In comes Shadow Skuntank. This is a really bad matchup for Wormadam Trash in the 1 shield. It's really bad. You can't do anything. But 2 shields, a bit of a different story. Unfortunately, the 2 shield thing doesn't really come into play here because they don't actually shield their Skuntank, which means in comes their second Poison Dart. Oh man, imagine if Wormadam was Confusion here. Zero chance to win this game. So Bug Bite is paying off. Also, you can run Fortress instead of Wormadam Trash. The reason I chose to power up Wormadam Trash instead of Fortress is because I could run Confusion on a future team if I wanted to. I'm going to make a big catch onto Umbreon with this Crunch. I actually think that was very important. I'm going to farm up a little bit more with Umbreon before I throw this Last Resort. I would love to have a little bit of energy going into that Skuntank matchup. Just kidding, doesn't KO anyways. I farm up a little bit, and that's fine. I don't want my Umbreon to win this matchup. Wormadam Trash can come in and start the farm on Drapion to save my shield, and it's going to be able to take down that Skuntank as well. But yeah, like I was saying, you can run Fortress as well. It does have that ground type move to threaten stuff like Toxicroak, which will be a problem for this team if it starts becoming more common. It's just a little bit less bulky, so I avoid getting caught there. We see the Azumarill come in, and in comes Beedrill. This is exactly what Beedrill loves to see. You're gonna no shield. They did not go to Hydro Pump. And if they don't go to Hydro Pump, you don't have to shield on Beedrill. Well, technically I think they can maybe almost win back switch, but they're gonna have to shield multiple drill runs, which they don't. And then this will end up in a farm down. So the 0 shield, Beedrill wins. Is gonna end with a charge move, which is gonna deal a ton of damage to Froslass if they let me get it off, which they do. Umbreon can come back in. I'm sure they're gonna throw their Avalanche, but it's fine. I would rather throw this foul play at this Froslass right now while it's locked in. I don't want this thing getting away. I don't want Wormadam Trash to have to eat a Shadow Ball later on in this match. But they somehow do want Wormadam Trash to eat that Shadow Ball later on in the match. So I will throw another foul play, which they also shield. And this makes me kind of concerned. It makes me kind of concerned that Umbreon is what's strong in the back. If Umbreon's strong against something in the back, maybe Wormadam Trash isn't. And it was a good decision. Here we have Skuntank. I guess in the 1 versus 0 shield, you actually, I think you win this as well. You have to throw Bug Buzz though. Bug Buzz is going to deal a bit more damage. Iron Head's not a very good move. Bug Buzz is a little bit better. And this isn't Shadow Skuntank. This is regular Skuntank. Even harder for Wormadam. And going to be able to just take down that Skuntank before it gets to a move. And then Froslass also before it gets to a move. So we're in for nothing. But yeah, I probably would have been safer if I had saved both shields for Wormadam Trash. But that's how it goes. And 4 wins. Feeling pretty good, back up to the high 2800s, just steadily climbing here in Halloween Cup. I think all 5 sets I've played so far have been positive, so just solid gains. And here we have Rommel J. Castro, Alolan Grimer lead. We're going to swap right into Beedrill, and in comes Sableye. This is a bit of a tough one. I maybe should have gone for the X-Scissor just so I can outpace, but they shield. And Rommel J. Castro is counting, so he's going to throw this foul play right before I get to my X-Scissor. I'm going to come back with the Umbreon. This is Umbreon's job. Take out this. He's a Ghost-type Pokemon, mainly. So it's going to be able to stay in, farm up quite a bit. I know I'm going to need 2 foul plays to take this thing out anyways. So we're going to farm a little bit more. They have to get to another return to threaten any damage at all. Throw this foul play. I'm locked in against Azu anyways, so it's time to get into Wormadam and see how it goes. Unfortunately, they still have the Grimer up as well. But once again, look at this. If this was Confusion Wormadam, we'd be in a lot of trouble. So, this is why on this team specifically, you run Bug Bite. There are other teams you can run Confusion with Wormadam Trash. I'm sure they work, but on this team specifically, you just can't do it. I let through the Crunch because I didn't want to get debuffed. In hindsight, I probably should have shielded both Crunches, but it is what it is. If this Azu is Hydro Pump, once again, we're going to lose, but it seems like every Halloween Cup, Azu does not run Hydro Pump. So I try and make a catch onto my Umbreon. It fails, but succeeds, but at the same time, it's just going to get farmed down anyways. This last resort damage would come in handy if this Azu hadn't just thrown their energy as well. But my Wormadam needs to get to more than 2 moves, and it's not going to quite get there. It's going to get to 2 because I throw with good timing here. I'm going to be able to get to the next Iron Head. Just need 1 more Bug Bite. If I needed 2 more Bug Bites, it wouldn't be possible. But the second Iron Head, I need a crit. No crit. And we're going to lose that game. That's a very tough lead into an honestly harder Umbreon counter in the back. So that was a bit set up for failure there. Froslass lead once again. This has been the most common lead I've seen. In comes Toxicroak, and this is where you like to see it. If Toxicroak's in the lead, you're in some trouble. Otherwise, these counters are double resisted, so they don't do much. You can let a Mud Bomb through. Not too big of a deal. Look how much damage those counters do. I'm going to bait once with X-Scissor because I felt like this person really, really would want to keep switch. I'm not sure if I have to bait to stay alive here or guarantee switch. They're going to force a shield out from me. I'm going to farm up a little bit more. And I'm going to go for the Drill Run. X-Scissor's double resisted, so it does almost no damage. They're actually going to let it through. I'm going to throw this X-Scissor so I don't get KO'd before I get to my Drill Run. And just be mindful of the switch time. We're going to Umbreon. They switch out right away, and in comes A9. Charm A9. We already know how this one goes. This is the 1 shield, though. So I decide to shield, I think. No, I let one through. Yeah, it doesn't really do much damage. You do have to shield the second one. 3, 4... throw with good timing, and then hopefully I can beat them to the next Iron Head as well. I think you slightly outpaced, but because they swapped, they had a little bit of the energy advantage, and we're going to get there at the same time instead. So even though I wasn't sure if I would survive, but I know my win condition here, just shielding up, making sure I get this Iron Head off. And then I can go with the Umbreon, Switch timer's up, and the rest is history here. Yeah, able to keep a good lead there with the Toxicroak switch in. Toxicroak, very interesting Pokemon, honestly, in Halloween Cup. Jellicent lead, this is a great lead. And a Hex Jellicent, even better. I'm planning to go to 100 energy. I kind of expected them to catch here, but instead they throw the Bubble Beam right away, which doesn't do very much damage. And that's okay. For me, right? I'm playing ABB. I want to switch anyways. Out of this Umbreon, I'm going to be able to clear these debuffs. Unless they make a very weird play here, which they do. And honestly, it was smarter than I thought. They bring in the Froslass. So they're running ABA Ghost. But my Umbreon is debuffed. So they're forcing me to stay in with my debuffs with this play. Start shielding up their Froslass. I realize my Umbreon's pretty useful, so you know what? Let's shield up this Avalanche. Because it's going to be able to take care of that Jelly. It's going to be able to take care of this Froslass. And if they're swapping this Froslass in, they might have another thing that's weak to Umbreon on the back. I kind of doubt it. That would be very interesting team building. But either way, it looks like Umbreon's going to be the MVP this game, so we play around that. Normally, you don't shield your Umbreon this much. But if your Umbreon's been a good boy, maybe he deserves a couple shields. You're going to swap into the Wormadam Trash. Worst case that's going to happen here is they're going to have to throw a Shadow Ball. And it does about half HP. And Wormadam can tank that, whereas Beedrill cannot. So in comes Jellicent. I'm going to throw this Iron Head. I honestly was not counting the amount of hexes they threw. So they could have been out of move. They could have not been out of move. And then either way, Nidoqueen comes in at the very end. And I know I have my win condition here. My goal here is to either hit it with an Iron Head and then Umbreon can take it out. Or force them to throw an Earth Power so that Beedrill can race them to a drill run and win. Beedrill slightly outpaces Nidoqueen. And drill run should one-shot. Nidoqueen switches are a bit tough though, because I think they can just Poison Fang down Beedrill, so you have to take shield advantage out of that instead of switch, which is unfortunate. Especially if you have that hard counter lead, but yeah, it is a bit tough. Zweilous lead, so not great. We're gonna go into Beedrill. Both the backline dominate this Pokemon. Bug is super effective against Dark, and Dragon doesn't resist Bug. So they're going to have to shield up everything here. I don't know how they got to a Body Slam at the same time as Beedrill got to an X-Scissor. They should be 2 Dragon Breaths away. So I think I must have lagged 2 turns at the beginning of that battle, which is extremely frustrating to see that the 2-turn lag bug is still going strong in this game. Either way, Quillfish comes in. I'm able to take shield advantage here. They're down to 0 shields at this point. So I'm going to let Beedrill go down. We have Umbreon able to clean up this Quillfish, no problem. Quillfish is quite squishy. We'll see what they're throwing. Oh, yeah, I count a little bit wrong here. They throw Sludge Wave, but I'm farming up a little bit more. We're going to throw an Aqua Tail, of course. And then I try and get a little greedy and throw after 2 more instead of just 1. And they actually had an energy, or sorry, a Poison Sting energy stored, so they're going to get to that Aqua Tail anyways. But at this point, the health on my Umbreon does not matter. It is all about Wormadam Trash here. The Wormadam Trash show. Not sure if we're going to be able to beat whatever's in the back, but it seems like there's a good bet considering that Beedrill did not get swapped in on by something else. And then we'll see how this goes. I get the defense drop here. Either way, I'm probably going to have to shield once. Doesn't matter if it's a Crunch or Flamethrower. Shield anyways. And then Zweilous is going to come back in and try and Dark Pulse down Wormadam, but man, Wormadam tired of being called trash his whole life. Gonna retaliate back. He's taking out so many Pokemon in these games, honestly. Just does a really good job closing, I think. If you do play it, it does feel really slow though. Get your moves really, really slow. But the consistent bug bite damage is very nice to have. And the like 10 resistances and only 1 weakness to a type that's not really here is not bad. But Galvantula, Beedrill is pretty good against Galvantula. Wormadam is okay. We swap out and we get this Jellicent switch in, which is exactly what we want. Because while Umbreon is not too great against Galv, it's not that bad if you have an energy advantage. So if the Jellicent decides to take out the Beedrill now, Umbreon is going to be able to get a big farm. If they Bubble Beam a lot, then maybe you have to switch out to clear the debuffs first, but this Jellicent is running Ice Beam. They're an enlightened Ice Beam runner. Appreciate them running Ice Beam. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take them down before the next Ice Beam. Really would have liked to avoid this damage, but taking out the Jellicent is just nice in general. Of course, we're going to have Galv come in, so I'm going to wait until I see that it's Galv coming in, throw this Foul Play. I'm probably going to throw one more Snarl and then a Foul Play as well for good timing. And then one more Snarl, because I want to tank this move and then switch. I don't want to accidentally catch a lunge on my Wormadam, but they discharge me. Very interesting. Maybe they're expecting my switch. I can go into Wormadam, and they bank a move and go into their Sableye. Sableye versus Wormadam. Sableye favored, but not by that much. This Iron Head is going to hit for quite a bit. I was going to get to my second Iron Head before they were able to get to their first one. Anyways, we're going to let this through. Not sure if Foul Play KOs. It does not. Throw another Iron Head just to try and take the Sableye down or force a shield. And they're going to shield up, and Wormadam's still going to take them down anyways. And take down Gal. Yeah. Nothing they could really do there. Wormadam just all bite, no bark here. Yeah, another 4-1. Team was pretty good. It's always nice when team building works out. I was kind of scared that because I released this team about a week ago, that there would be a lot more counters out there, and I wouldn't be able to show you guys the result of proper team building, but it's nice when everything, I guess, works out. So if you do like that kind of stuff, remember, for upcoming new metas and stuff like that, I'll be doing team building examples and meta analysis in video form, akin to the last video for the youngster Patreon supporters and the channel members. So appreciate that support from all you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.